Hello, everyone. I wanted to give everyone a moment to join if you're hoping to be here promptly and catch this whole open house. I am so excited to spend the next hour with everyone and go through what we have to offer in Networking Nutritionists. It's a really exciting time for us. This is the first time that we've opened up the doors in this way. We're going to show you behind the curtain, if you will. So let's get right into it. I won't keep anyone waiting. A bunch of you are here very promptly, which I love. So we've got a bunch to go through today, and we'll just get right on into it. So the very first thing I want to say is thank you for joining me. We had really good response this open house. Obviously, this is something that a lot of you were wondering about. What are we doing in the new Networking Nutritionist group? So we're going to answer some of those questions today. For those of you who know how, are you able to give me a thumbs up if you're hearing me loud and clear right now, so I know everything is going well on the tech side? That would be awesome. Okay, good stuff. I see a couple. So as I said, I'm really excited to be here today with all of you. We're going to spend the next 60 minutes together, look at what we're doing in Networking Nutritionists these days. And for those of you who don't know me, I should introduce myself quickly. I'm Veronica Jean, and I'm the founder and the host of Networking Nutritionists. I do want this hour to be interactive and to ensure that I'm answering all of the questions that you might have about our community. So you're welcome to use the chat box at any time throughout the hour. I'll do my best to keep an eye on that. But if you do have a very specific question that you want me to answer, throw that into the Q&A box. So there is a little Q&A button at the bottom of your screen likely, and you can actually enter your question in there, and that'll make sure that I definitely see it and I don't miss anything. I also want to say, to get the most out of this time together, I really recommend, if you haven't already, head to somewhere quiet, head to somewhere private, maybe put on some earphones, put all of your devices onto silent, and really give this your full attention for the next hour. I'm a one-woman show here on my end today. Sabine was helping me set up, but on my side, all of the tech is all mine. So if you notice my eyes are kind of moving around the screen, I am checking the chat and reviewing anything there. I'm looking at Q&As, I'm toggling between materials that I have to share with you today. So I promise you guys also have my undivided attention. So before we get into the open house, there's a bunch of you in here already. I would love to know where you all joining us from. I personally am in a suburb just outside of Toronto in Canada. And it's a really, oh, Toronto too, okay. It's a really nice day today. We are having a little bit of a break from a recent heat wave. So it's a nice little reprieve. Okay, so a couple Torontos, Vancouver. Is it chilly in Vancouver, I think? I was talking to someone in Vancouver yesterday and they said it was only 16 or 18 over there. Wonderful. Near London, but moving to Europe next month. Wow, that's amazing. That'll be a big change. Excellent. All right. Well, it's good to connect with all of you. I'm really thankful that you're here. I'm looking forward to this next hour. And I won't keep us waiting any longer. I've got a bunch of materials to share with you. So let me just set up my screen share and we will get right into it. All right, here we go. All right, so what we're going to cover today, just to give you a little bit of an overview, we're going to go through a little bit about me so you can know who I am, why this work is important to me, why this group is so close to my heart. We're going to talk a little bit about the evolution of Networking Nutritionists as well. So what contributed to making this group what it is today. We'll go over our community philosophy, so those guiding principles that really work to shape everything that we do at Networking Nutritionists. We'll talk about our platform, so the specific place where our group is hosted how it functions, how you can use it. We'll talk about ways that members can build meaningful connections with each other. So we'll talk about all the different strategies and opportunities within our group that we offer to get you connected with your colleagues. We'll talk about the types of events that we offer, lots of different ones, and we'll go into that in quite a bit of detail because this was where we saw the most questions coming in. We'll talk about some opportunities that we have for mentorship and coaching as well. And again, there's a few different ways that we do that, and we'll go through all of those details today. We'll talk about some other membership benefits. We will show you a little sneak peek on some member conversations that are going on within our group, the types of people that are joining Networking Nutritionists, where they're coming from, what specialties they have, and the types of questions that they're asking. And then if you stick around right to the end, we've got a special offer for you and also some fast action bonuses. So there'll be some really good offers for you to take advantage of. And those of you who are joining live for this open house will have first dibs. So those fast action bonuses are only being offered to a small number of people. And whoever first come, first serve will be who gets those bonuses. So this gives you the first opportunity to get in on all of those extras. So to start off, as I said, I'll share a little bit about me. I am Veronica Jean, and I'm a holistic nutritionist, among other things, but that's my primary role. I'm also a mama, which that's my favorite job. So I always have to throw that in there. I'm an avid reader. And this is something that I've gotten back into over the last few years. I was always an avid reader most of my life. And then a few years ago, I had a brain injury and reading was really difficult for me at that time. So now that I have recovered, I have a goal this year to read 100 books. Last year I did 75. So I'm really hopeful I will hit that 100 mark this year. I also call myself an overall student of life. I just love learning, and that's really part of, I think, what drives me to do this work with Networking Nutritionists. There's so many other amazing people within our industry to learn from, and it's so fun for me to connect with them and connect those people with all of you as well. But it gives me a great opportunity to continue that lifelong learning that's so important to me. I do have 15 years experience in the health and nutrition industry. I've worked in a bunch of different roles, and I carry that experience with me into what I do here at Networking Nutritionists as well as the host. So I've worked in a health food store. I ran and directed a health food store and a multidisciplinary clinic for about 10 years, done government contracts. I've worked in education, been lucky enough to contribute in the nonprofit sector as well. Lots and lots of different types of roles, and they all have amazing things to offer. Always what stood out to me in each of those roles was how important a like-minded team was. And so I feel like that community connection is really what we're building in Networking Nutritionists. And my feeling is that that just lifts us all up. When one of us is succeeding, then we all will do better as well. My initial foray, if you will, into holistic nutrition started out of desperation. Do any of you relate to that? You can put it up in the chat. I did not intend to be a nutritionist. That was not my plan for my life. But as a teenager, I was really ill, lots of digestive health issues, mental health issues, struggling with addiction and substance use to cope with all of my symptoms, and basically wasn't well enough to continue with college. And at the time I was studying architecture, so very different from what I do today. But that sort of personal connection to nutrition and going into it really with just that intention to get myself well. I hear from a lot of colleagues as well that, I got into this field because I wanted to help myself, or maybe it was a family member or a friend or something who was unwell, and we exhausted all of the options that conventional medicine was offering to us and had to find a new way. And so with this sort of like-minded community in networking nutritionists, we find a lot of those synergies in our stories, and we can share and learn from each other. So that's just a little tidbit about me, so you know who I am and why this is so important to me. So I'll talk to you a little bit now about our group's evolution. So our group, Networking Nutritionists, actually first began 12 years ago as a Facebook group. Um, if any of you want to, in the chat, were any of you members of our previous Facebook group? Are you familiar with us on that platform? You can throw a yes or a no into the chat if you like. I see a yes coming in, all right. So this started 12 years ago. It was just a way for specific classmates to be able to stay connected with one another after they had graduated. Felt that they were really missing that connection with one another, those touch points, being able to problem solve for new clients and figure out what supplements were best on the market, those sort of tangible day-to-day things as you get started in your work and your career as a nutritionist. So that's where it started. It grew steadily to the point that administration was really needed. The group was taking on a mind of its own, and we had to start doing some more work to manage what was going on in the group, the types of posts, keeping everything on topic, that sort of thing. So I officially became an admin of that group about 6 years ago now. And at the time I was taking over from Julia Rickert, and it was Joy McCarthy, who is the original creator of the Facebook group. And so I took that over about 6 years ago. And then in 2019, the group was fully transferred to me. Joy had taken a step back, and I became that sole admin of the group. And then fast forward to 2020, and all of our lives were turned upside down, right? But censorship really became quite rampant on Facebook. So we were really at risk of losing that group entirely. We kept getting our content flagged. Even mentioning something as simple as vitamin D, I would get a notification from Facebook that some algorithm or other had thought that we were talking about pseudoscience or giving false information. And we had gotten so many strikes, we were at risk if we got another one for the entire group to close down. We wouldn't then have any access to our previous content that is still on Facebook as a searchable archive if anyone wants to look at it. And also no connection to each other. We would lose that as well. So that made me quite nervous. This group had such a great history. And it was such an uplifting and connected space. And I really did not want us to lose that. So I made the decision to transition us to a membership platform, which gave us the ability to control the culture within the group. It also freed us from that censorship of the Facebook algorithm. So we can ask questions about natural health products. We can talk about emerging science, and we don't have to be worried that those things are going to get flagged and get the group shut down. Really have a lot more freedom in the way that we converse with each other in ways that we didn't have for the last several years on Facebook. So that's how we came to be in our newest iteration. And I'll talk a little bit about the community philosophy at this point. So we were created by nutritionists. There was a lot of other nutritionists who collaborated with me to get Networking Nutritionists as it is today off the ground. And we've created it for all of you, for other nutritionists and nutrition professionals. We root ourselves in the idea of holism. So that idea of holism, the idea that the sum is greater, the sum of the parts is greater than each of them on their own. And we really believe that's true with people and with our industry as well. Each of us individually is fabulous, but put us all together and there is no stopping us at that point. So we really have that idea that we can uplift each other and uplift our industry at the same time. We choose to come together instead of going it alone. There are really unique challenges in this particular industry, and being with a group of people who are facing similar challenges or have faced similar challenges is really, really helpful. So being able to come together in that way is really important to us. We believe in collaboration over competition. So we don't need to compete with each other. There is space for everyone. And as I said, we can uplift each of us. We want every single person in our industry to succeed, because when we're each individually succeeding, that is helping our industry as a whole to grow and to have more of a positive impact on the world. We want to bridge the gap between the latest science and also traditional wisdom. So for most of us, this is very true in our practices, but it's true for us in the group as well. So we do want to focus on the science. We want to share new things that are happening within the industry, but we also have those fallbacks of that traditional wisdom to carry forward into our practices and into how we interact within the group as well. And the other thing that's important is that we're all graduates from qualifying institutions. So we do have a list of institutions that we feel are qualifying. It's growing all the time as new members are applying. But basically, we look for programs that have that holistic philosophy. And then also they have a strong foundation of nutrition education. So we want them to know those fundamentals of nutrition, and then also a strong research aspect. So folks who are coming to us know how to do research, how to find information for themselves, and are able to really contribute to the group in a positive way because of that. And the last thing is that we all have a desire to build really meaningful professional relationships. And this is core to what we are doing within Networking Nutritionists. On our new platform, as we'll go into, there are so many ways for us to connect with one another that we weren't able to do when our group lived on Facebook. And so building those connections is really core to our mission at this point. So I'll share a little bit about our group members as well. Some of our group members are just starting out. We do have a bunch of fresh graduates who are members in our group, and then some are quite seasoned in their career, like myself, or even 30, 40 years in this industry. And so we're all at different places and we all have different things to bring to the table. So some folks are working at health food stores, either on the floor or as management. We have group members who might be foraging for mushrooms and herbs and doing work in herbal medicine. We've got sales reps for nutraceutical companies or practice management software companies who are building out their work in that way. Administrators for holistic clinics, multidisciplinary clinics of sorts. If they're marketing a wellness brand, that's also welcome. So you don't have to be in clinical practice. You might be running retreats. We have a couple of people getting into that these days now that the world is opening back up. You might be a personal chef doing meal delivery or meal preparation for your clients. Or of course, you could be in clinical practice. So we have lots of different types of nutritionists and nutrition professionals within the group sharing their experience, sharing their gifts with the group. So there's not necessarily one specific type of nutritionist within our group. Like I said, it's not only for clinical practice. There's lots of other folks here as well. And everything in between. So from there, I'll talk a little bit about our platform, because this is also a question that we get pretty regularly. So we spent a lot, and I mean a lot of time making the decision to move off of Facebook and then deciding what the best platform to host us was going to be. And ultimately, we did choose a platform called Mighty Networks. So our group is hosted within the Mighty Networks platform. The functionality is very similar to Facebook. So that's part of the reason that we chose it, because we were transitioning off of Facebook. We wanted something that was going to feel intuitive to group members who were moving over with us. It is private, so that was important to us as well. Just like on Facebook, the content was searchable to group members, but not to folks who were outside of our group. And then the biggest thing, there's no censorship, as I said before. There's no algorithm that's going to flag our content, tell us that we can't talk about that. Of course, it's important to all of us to keep things respectful and constructive, but there are no issues with that among this amazing group. So it's really nice to be able to talk so freely with our colleagues, talk about those red flag type topics that might come up, especially these days, and things that a lot of our colleagues are being flagged for on mainstream channels like Facebook or Instagram, having content removed. We're not having to worry about that in this particular platform. So what the membership actually includes, we'll talk about a bit of an overview, and then I will give you a little peek into the platform here as well. So we do have events every month. We offer different webinar trainings, we have expert interviews, we do networking events. It's just a bunch of different ways that you can connect and get engaged within the group itself. When you join as a member, you also have immediate access to all of the previous recordings from events. So anything that has happened within the group, going back to November when we first launched, you've got access to that right away when you join. We do offer member spotlights. So we offer every month a group member to basically show off a little bit, tell us about themselves, share what they're doing in the industry, how they are developing in their career, ways that you might be able to connect with them that would be mutually beneficial. It's just another way that we kind of encourage that connection and getting to know one another on a little deeper level. We also have message boards. So that's like your Facebook newsfeed, basically. So you can post up comments, comment on other people's threads, and share things in that way. We also have clinical mentorship and business coaching opportunities. So some of these are one-on-one, some are in small groups, some are somewhat informal. But there's lots of ways to get the support that you might be looking for in your career, whatever is needed to bring you to the next step. We really want to try to provide that, and there's lots of opportunities. And then we do have discounted rates as well with our affiliates and our partners. So whether that's different labs who are offering screening tests or practice management software or continuing education, and more things coming on board all the time as our group grows and as we develop. But we do have those, some of those things secured already for our group members. So when you join, you'll instantly have access to that list of special offers as well. And then the best part is just support from members all over the world. Of course, you have access to our team as well, but our members are really, that's where it's at. That's the best part of our group, is all of the amazing people who have chosen to join us. So at this point, I'm going to switch my screen. So give me one moment. I want to give you a little peek inside of Mighty Networks in case you haven't seen the platform yet, just to give you a little idea of what it looks like and where all of these things are situated within the platform. All right, here we go. Okay. So here I am within my Google Chrome window. I'm going to come over to my homepage, and this here is basically what your news feed is like on Facebook, if you are familiar with Facebook. So you can see at the top, you can search the entire group. I will say that I have hidden a bunch of things from this newsfeed. I wanted to be respectful of people who have shared within this private group, because this video will be available for replay after the open house. So you'll get to see some of it, but of course, there's more content when you actually join us. So on this newsfeed, as I was saying, you can make a post just like you would in Facebook. You can add images or files or videos that you want to share. You can create polls. They've just upgraded to add a nice GIF keyboard. If I can move all my Zoom stuff out of the way. They've also got emojis that you can use just like on Facebook. And you can also expand. So if you want to share a large chunk of information with the group, instead of just doing one of these quick posts, you can also expand to an article. And then you have headings and all sorts of other tools available to you. And this makes it almost like a blog post. So you are able to share this with the group as well. Your main navigation is on the left-hand side here. Again, very similar to Facebook. So we have our home, which is your kind of main hub. It shows you where you can post, also shows you our featured posts. So it has things like our monthly content calendar for events, a member spotlight, recent webinar replays, all of these things in featured. And then as you scroll down, this is where you see what other group members have posted and shared. You see a recent post that we did about our team growing. This is where we start getting into the actual content of the group on the newsfeed here. There's different areas on this left-hand sidebar. As I said, you can connect with other members. You're able to search by topic. I'll show you that a little later when we talk about events. There is an event tab. You can see I'm live right now in the group. And then also on the other side of the screen here, again, very similar to Facebook, so it's quite intuitive. You've got an area where you can direct message with other group members, an area for your notifications, and then also here ways to manage your own personal profile. So I'm going to swap my share again, come back to our PowerPoint. And we'll talk about some of those opportunities to connect. So specifically, you can search for members near you or also by their specialty. So you can search, as I showed you just a moment ago, on the very top of the screen in Mighty Networks. That will search our whole network for a particular keyword. You can also go into the members section, search for a specific person, and connect with them that way. You can use direct messaging, very much like Facebook Messenger, where you're chatting one-on-one, or you can create groups. For some of our small group coaching, we'll often do that and create a little group chat for everyone to connect in between our sessions. There are those active message boards. So those are the posts that are getting shared to the main newsfeed, comments that people are making. You can reply in threads, just as you do on Facebook as well. We have just started something that we're calling conscious conversations. And so this is a real good opportunity for members to connect with one another. Again, having that like-minded community. These are basically just Zoom chats. So we're getting on and we're diving into the deep stuff. So we're asking hard questions, or talking about things that are maybe going on in the world or going on in our practice, or regulation changes that are going to affect us, really getting into those deeper topics, where some of those things are a little harder to have those conversations in text on a message board. This is giving an opportunity to come in, come together, have those conversations, talk about the tough stuff, and a way to also come away inspired by your peers and feeling uplifted and like you have a direction going forward or something you can do to better a particular situation. So this is a really exciting thing that we've just started. We also have networking events. So specific structured events that are created with the aim for you to be able to connect with other fellow group members in a way that's mutually beneficial. We do have that small group programming, which I've mentioned a few times, and we'll dive into that in just a moment, what some of those specific programs are. And then I wanted to show you an overview of a monthly calendar. So every month we do put out a calendar with all of our event days. So this is the one coming up for July. You're getting a sneak peek. Even our members haven't seen this actually. It'll come out tomorrow, I believe. So our monthly events, we put them on this calendar. This will go within a post that gives you a little overview as well of each of the events. You can see if it's an event that you would want to attend and RSVP that way. And so you can see here in green, these are our webinars and interviews. In the blue, these are things that we're doing in small groups, coaching and things like that. And then in the gray, these are a little bit more conversational type of events. So coming back to small group programming that we offer, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the specific programs that we have going on right now. So we've got something called open office hours. You might have seen that on the slide that I just shared. And open office hours, if any of you attended post-secondary education, really just thinking about this as a time to pop in. So we have an open Zoom room for an hour, and members will pop in, ask a question. They might stick around, try to answer some other people's questions if it's relevant. But it's a time to get feedback really about anything to do with your career as a nutritionist. So that might be a difficult client case that you're wondering about, not sure where to go, feeling kind of stuck. It might be something on the business part, maybe you're doing a launch and you're not quite sure of the tech. So whatever it is that's relevant to your career as a nutritionist, this is a time for you to pop in, get some feedback, get some ideas, and get unstuck, basically. We also are offering accountability and success pods. So these are small groups of our members who meet once a week for 6 weeks. And basically each week we go through, we set goals, we track the goals that we are completing, and all of us are cheering each other on to tackle some really awesome projects. So the one that we're running right now, we have someone editing a book, we have someone else creating a group program, we have another person who's completely pivoting her business and moving less from nutrition and incorporating a lot more energy work. So really, really interesting, different places in careers, but able to come together within these pods and cheer each other on and stay really motivated to reach those goals. And then we do have just general small group coaching as well. So these are times where a small group of members will come together with me, sometimes with another expert as well, and be able to get some feedback and some coaching on different aspects of their business. Specific to webinars and interviews, I wanted to share a little bit about those, and then we'll pop back into Mighty Networks and I'll show you more about the events on that platform as well. So we do have educational webinars, and these come in a range of topics, but they're in like this in a webinar format. We also offer expert interviews. Sometimes those are interactive as well, where you're able to come on camera and talk to the individual also. As I said, topics range. So we have clinical insights, we have practice management support, we have marketing tips, we have continuing ed opportunities. It really ranges. Anything that you would need in your work as a nutritionist. And you also have the ability as a group member to make requests. And we really try our best to meet as many of those requests as possible. So it's one of the first things when you join the group, we ask you to fill out a little questionnaire telling us what you hope to see, what experts you would love, what topics you want to know more about, what your goals are. And we really do tailor that content to what our group members are asking for. Really, we're here to serve you as a member. And as I mentioned before, when you join Networking Nutritionist, you have access to all the previous replays. So I'm going to do a quick screen swap again, and I'll bring you back into Mighty Networks, where I can show you the specific event functions. Okay, so here we are again. I'm going to move all these Zoom tools out of my way once more. So under the Events tab here on the left sidebar, if I click that, it shows us upcoming events. So this is what we have left for June, but you can also look at all of the past events. So everything that has happened previously is also listed here. And then, as I mentioned, we also offer all of those replays. So under topics, this is how we tag different content, make it easily searchable for you. Under the topics, we have a tag specifically for event replays. So if you pop in there, you can just scroll through. This is all of our different webinar replays, again, since we opened the doors to this particular group in November. So you can see there's a range. There is, we saw at the top there, gut infections in clinical practice was talking about different testing options, clinical presentations of different infections. There's some work that we did with different lab partners to get us as nutritionists access to different screening options. We have Brittany, who came in from Practice Better, talking about practice management, streamlining to make your business more scalable. lots and lots of stuff. There's marketing support in here, special guest interviews talking about niching your business, growing an online brand, continuing education, all sorts of different stuff in these replays. And we will continue to offer webinars and interviews that are many different topics. I'm going to swap back to PowerPoint again. Okay, so that's a little bit about the webinars and interviews as well, and how the events function on Mighty Networks. We do have some other member benefits. As I sort of alluded to a little bit earlier, we do work really hard to secure exclusive discounts for our members as well. So this is on things like continuing education opportunities, maybe certification courses, the laboratory testing, as I mentioned, some supplement brands, our practice management software, and more is coming all the time as we're developing and as our group is growing. These are things as well that are perks to your membership that you can really use as a resource to build and grow in your career. And then we also do offer an affiliate program. So individuals who come on as members of Networking Nutritionists have the opportunity to share the network with their colleagues and earn a commission. We have a very robust affiliate program. We offer a 30% commission. So any individual who you refer through our affiliate program, you actually get that as a perk as well. So something like 3 or 4 of your friends and colleagues are referred, and you've paid for your annual membership in those referral fees. So I also wanted to make sure to share a little bit about some member conversations, so the types of things that people are talking about within our group. So we share interesting articles. I think you saw a video there that was shared when I was showing the main newsfeed. Any must-see research, so new things that you come across, clinical insights, so things that you learn in clinical practice that you want to share with the group, business resources, ways to develop your business. Job opportunities also get shared. So either hiring, things that you come across that you think someone would be a great fit for, or looking for referrals for specific jobs. We also have referral requests pretty frequently. So, if someone doesn't practice in a specific area, maybe they have a client requesting prenatal support and they don't really work with that population, they can come into the group, post up, and search and see who works in the prenatal field. But also things like maybe their client wants to work with a naturopath instead. So you can crowdsource that as well. What's a great naturopath specifically in Texas who works with a prenatal population, and we can start getting some of those recommendations. And then we do have personal health questions as well. So for members, if they have questions for themselves, if they're feeling a little stuck in their own healing, or maybe it's a family member or a friend, we sometimes miss the obvious things when it comes to our loved ones when we're trying to help them with their health. So crowdsourcing within our group is also perfectly acceptable, and we have that happening sometimes as well. And of course, there's lots more that I can't mention here for the sake of time. So I wanted to share a few specific member conversations that had started, and just to show you a little bit about kind of the different areas where people are posting and asking questions. So this particular member, obviously I've anonymized it, so there's no name associated here. But this particular member had posted asking if anyone has experience working with clients in Mexico. You can see they were located in Toronto. They do work with clients who are in Canada and in the US, but no experience in Mexico. And they were looking for a way to get the proper supplements for the protocol to this client. And so they posted up asking about that in the group, and a bunch of us jumped in, giving advice of local stores or different companies that would ship to that area to make sure that those resources could get to this member's clients. We also had someone post recently about a new client who was onboarding in their business who lives in the US. Again, this person was in Canada, and they were having some trouble with Square and how to charge in US dollars. And again, really quickly, we were able to jump in, help this person find a way to charge their client so they could onboard this person into their business. And then the last one I'll share with you, this is one of those personal health examples. So this group member had posted saying that she has a friend that really needs some help because she experienced really sudden onset vertigo. She had the first episode while she was driving, and it was really scary and kind of dangerous. She goes on to describe all of the litany of doctors and therapies that she has tried and medications and so on, but that it's really not helping. And then she specifically asks maybe what her friend could consider for relief or a practitioner that they could go to see that would be helpful. And again, lots of folks had some really nice feedback for this as well. So now that you have seen an overview of what we offer, what I've been telling you, but also a little peek into the group on Mighty Networks as well to see how it functions, its similarities to Facebook, all of its features. I'm curious, which feature or features of the membership are the most intriguing to you? If you want, you can throw that up in the chat. I'm really curious to hear what is the most exciting for you. And while I'm waiting to see all of your answers, I will share my most favorite part of this new community is how flexible it is. And I'll put kind of under that umbrella is that lack of censorship, that we really can speak freely to one another. We can connect, we can talk about research, we can talk about natural remedies, we can talk about whatever we want, and no algorithm swoops in and pulls that content down. So that's really my absolute favorite thing. And it has allowed us to build deeper connections with one another. And like I said, even in the case of our small group coaching and our accountability pods, we're really pushing each other forward in our careers and building up our industry as a whole. So do any of you have anything to share after hearing what this group is all about? What would you look most forward to in being a member? I really am curious. So please do throw that into the chat. Events and message boards. The only reason you kept Facebook was for the old group, so you're happy it's on a new platform. That is a familiar sentiment. Facebook is kind of, a lot of folks look at it as a necessary evil, right? It's not that great for our mental health. There's all of the ads and things that you don't control. And so with our group being on Mighty Networks now, when you go to the group, it's really focused content, right? You're not getting other ads. It's not showing you random TikTok videos that you don't want to see. You're not getting your best friend's bad news. It's a really uplifting and supportive space. So I absolutely agree with you, Joanna. That is a huge benefit to our new group. So before I invite you to post up any questions that you have, I'm going to share a few things that our other members are saying, and then we'll get into those special offers and bonuses. So what our members are saying, this is Connie, and she said that Networking Nutritionist is giving her valuable options that she needs for her practice and arranging discounts for us, which can make such a difference. So she really valued those extra perks. She said in some ways she feels she's gaining more benefit from this community than from her association membership. So I was really touched when she shared that. And I wanted to share it with all of you as well, because we are working really hard to make sure that our membership is worthwhile and it's doing the things that are driving our members' careers forward and helping them reach their vision of success, what that looks like for each of us. We also have Angela. And she said she's enjoying engaging with like-minded colleagues whom she would not have had the chance to meet if it was not for this online platform. She's been sharing it with some of her colleagues. And she also stated that as change makers and leaders in the wellness space, we have a natural understanding of each other's vision and drive and are ideally positioned to lend support and co-create win-win possibilities. And I could not agree with that more. That is so central to our mission as a team and to my mission as the host of this group is what we can do to find those win-wins, the things that benefit all of us, benefit our entire industry. As I said, if we're lifting one of us up, we're lifting all of us up. So that is really quite central to our work. Got a few little smaller testimonials here as well, that it's great to connect with so many like-minded practitioners and learn what's working for others. loving the collaborative atmosphere of networking nutritionists and that the support is invaluable. A thank you for hosting events, that it was a brilliant webinar and very timely for a specific project that they were working on. So we love getting these little thank you notes. It is so heartwarming for us. But it really does go to show we're working very, very hard on our end to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our members and making sure that this group is a collaborative and supportive space that's meeting our members' needs. So let me get into all of the special offers that we have for you today. So for those of you who are watching live and you've got to the end, this is where you've got first dibs. These offers are not going to be released to anyone else for at least several hours until we get the replay up on our website, and it won't go out in email tomorrow. So if you're interested in these special offers, you've got the first chance to snag them. Our regular membership rate, I will share, is $147 per year, and it is billed annually. And we're offering a one-time discounted membership rate of $107 per year. So a $40 discount, with the caveat that that's for life. This discount locks you in at that price going forward. So you will not experience a membership price increase for as long as you are a member. I'll also say we have no plans to offer our membership at this low of a price ever again. So this really is one time. This is what we're offering. You can get in for $107 per year. For the first 20 people who apply using our coupon code, and the coupon code there is OpenHouse107, you will get access to your own 30-minute one-on-one call with me. And the aim there is to help you get the most out of the network. So maybe you're a little bit confused on where to find things within the network, or you missed out on filling out your Google form to request a specific webinar, or you want to know what events are upcoming so you can prep for them. Whatever is going to be the most helpful to you, we can use that 30 minutes to make sure that you're really engaged in the network. You know, maybe we work on setting your notifications so you get all those notifications that you want, and the cue to stay engaged in the network. However you want to use that 30 minutes, it is your time and I will be there to support you. And we're offering that to the first 20 people who register with this coupon code. Then additionally, as a bonus incentive for joining from this open house, we're offering access to 3 months of monthly exclusive group coaching calls with the new members who come in during this period of time after the open house. So you'll get those 3 months of group coaching as well, completely free of charge, with myself, with all of the other new members as well, and really using that as a time to accelerate your career growth as well. So to refresh what was on that last slide, give you just the nuts and bolts of it. Our regular rate is $147 per year, but we're offering to you for $107 per year, and that's locked in for as long as you are a member with no increases. Our fast action bonus for the first 20 people is a 30-minute one-on-one call with me to make sure you can get the most out of this network. And then you also are getting 3 months of monthly group coaching completely free of charge. In order to claim that, you want to go to networkingnutritionist.com. You would click on join us and make sure you use the coupon code OpenHouse107. So I'm going to actually pause here for just a moment. If those of you watching are interested in getting those fast action bonuses, just take a quick screenshot. As I said, no one else is going to see this until late tonight on our website and early tomorrow when it goes out in an email. So you have first dibs to get in on these discounts and these special offers. So take a quick screen grab before I stop screen sharing, and we'll get into the Q&A portion of today as well. All right, did I wait long enough? Everyone who wants it screenshotted has got it? Beautiful. So I'm actually going to stop screen sharing at this point, and I'm going to invite you either in the chat, because now I have a little more ability to see the chat at the same time, in the chat, or if you want in that Q&A box. If you have any questions that you feel I didn't answer, or things that you're still curious about, or you want a little bit more clarification on after watching the last 45 minutes, going through the network, seeing what it's like on Mighty Networks, hearing about the different offerings, please put those questions in there. And I will go through and be happy to answer them. So I'm just going to pull up that Q&A box, make sure I see everything as it comes through. Okay. So I see one question come through already about who qualifies to come into the groups. We did touch on that a little bit, that we look for institutions that have this holistic philosophy. So we often will go to the school's website, call their administrators. We're looking for institutions who are teaching that blend of science and traditional wisdom. We want that marriage of both of them. That's really important for who we're letting into the group. So we don't necessarily allow dietitians into our group because they don't have, although they're nutrition professionals, they don't always have that holistic lens unless they're dually certified. And then we would be looking at what that dual certification is. This question is specifically asking about culinary nutrition experts. So yes, that does qualify. Definitely has that holistic lens. They're teaching you those fundamentals of nutrition. And then there's also a strong research component in that program. So absolutely that would qualify, no questions asked. All right, let me see what else I've got. Okay, so small group coaching, how does that work? So those events usually we will post at the end of a month for the next month. So probably tomorrow, I believe, our July calendar will be released. And then you have the opportunity to sign up for those types of events that you want to attend. So small group coaching, if there's certain types of networking events that we might put a limited capacity on to make sure there's enough time for us all to connect with each other. Open office hours, whatever those things are that you might want to register for in that small group capacity. Or also the success and accountability pods. Those things will announce ahead of time the registration, allow you to register for them. Our pods have been particularly popular. So we actually announce when the registration will open. So you get a heads up for when registration opens. So if you really want in on that, you can be waiting on that particular day and register yourself at that time to make sure that you snag a spot within one of those pods. So you will have information about all of the events ahead of time, and then you just register for them within Mighty Networks. There is an RSVP function. So you can say if you're going, if you can't go, if you might go, and then it will give you reminders based on that. And if needed for some of those events with a capacity maximum, then you would register within Zoom. All of the events are hosted within Zoom, just like this webinar. So it's a very familiar platform. Good question. Oh, Sarah, I see you posted in the chat box. Is this group for all nutritionists in Canada or from the US too? Actually, all over the world. So our main focus right now, Canada, the US, Australia, New Zealand, and I will say some of Europe, because it's not all of Europe for the types of regulations that they have, but we do have members all over the world practicing in different areas. We have one new member from South Africa as well. So it's not specific to any one area of the globe. We really are interested in building this out to be a global community. And you saw that in one of the member conversations that I shared, that this person is expanding and starting to practice with clients in Mexico. So having some folks with some experience in Mexico was really useful for that reason as well. So our group is in a growth phase. We just transitioned to Mighty Networks in November, it was, and we only launched to the members of our previous Facebook group. So whoever was in that group that wanted to come over, we've kind of tested and refined things over the last 6 months. And now we feel like we've got it down. We know what's working. We've really done a good job supporting each other. We have all of these processes built out. So now we're beginning to launch to that broader community. But it's really those 5 areas of the world that we're focusing on right now, because there are more similarities in the scope of practice. So that was important to us as well, to make sure that all of us are coming from a place where we get each other, right? There's those similarities in how we practice, the challenges we might be coming up against. So that was really important to us. Good question. I'm gonna swap back and check our Q&A again. See if there's any other questions. All right, I don't see any more questions in the Q&A box, so this is your last chance. If you have a question that I haven't answered that you really want the answer to, please pop it up into the chat or into that Q&A box, and I will answer in the last few minutes that we have together. That hour just absolutely flew by. I can't believe it. Oh, I see one more. Okay, what does this say? Okay, so yes, the question here in the Q&A, it's asking about the direct messaging. So there is direct messaging where you can message our team through Mighty Networks. That's absolutely acceptable. But you can also message other members. So that direct messaging functions very much like a Facebook chat in Facebook Messenger, or if you have WhatsApp or something like that, even similar to a text message. So it does have a nice GIF keyboard. You can send friendly little messages that way. It has an emoji keyboard. You can send files that way. So if you're collaborating with someone on a project, maybe they're going to take over your Instagram for a day or something like that, you can send files back and forth to each other through that direct message as well. In our members section within Mighty Networks, you can search, you can look through our whole list of members, but you can also search for members based on specialty or based on people who are nearby you if you wanted to collaborate with someone locally. And then from there, there's a button that says say hello, and that will take you into direct messaging that individual. So it's another good way that you can connect with one another, just using those direct messages. The direct messaging is very intuitive. If you've ever sent a text message or used Facebook or WhatsApp, you'll have no problem using that functionality at all. Good question. All right. I think that was our last question. So we are just about at the end of our hour. Thank you all for joining me live. Thank you for these wonderful questions at the end. I'm so glad that we were able to talk about them and I can give you some of that clarity. So I'm even more excited to welcome you into our group. I had so much fun for this last hour. I really looked forward to connecting, but I'm even more excited to welcome you into our group and start connecting with you in that way. Attending some events together and doing some group coaching and helping you connect with this community of your peers. So hopefully you grabbed a screenshot of those special offers. If not, this will be up for replay on our website later tonight. And tomorrow it will go out in an email. So if you're registered to our email list, you will get that as well and have a chance to register at that point. So thank you again for attending live. I really appreciate you spending this last hour with me. I can't wait to see you inside soon. Take care.